Hello, hola, bonjour. Tune in every Tuesday to the Dear God Podcast.
¿Y qué pasó?
Nah, we talking like it's 1995. Let go of that Wi-Fi. Let's laugh and cry, but never say goodbye. Primos y Primas, queloque, and welcome. Bienvenidos to the Dear God, Are We There Yet? The podcast con tu prima favorita. Soy Alicia, and yes, this podcast is bilingual. Ahora, dear God, in this context for my movement is whatever or whomever you want it to be. It could be the universe, religious God, Buddha, self, nature, lo que sea para ti. Dear God, Are We There Yet? Is a lifestyle community of question seekers. Ya tú sabes, their goal is simple: to empower thought-provoking conversations, share happiness, and encourage each of us to never stop asking questions and having conversations. Don't forget to check out the YouTube channel where I talk about self-growth, budgets and business, and the passion to empower. Ahora vamos a hablar, como es 1995, tengo una entrevista hoy. I have a special guest, and I cannot wait to dig into it because she is incredible just because I'm a cancer survivor. So, and even when I read with people that are giving back to the, the community of, cancer survivors or just people going through that journey and alone, it's just one big hug from me to you. Cassandra, she helps educate women on health and environmental impacts of the beauty industry, and she has a podcast. So I'm going to put all that links below, but I want to get into it. Hola, Cassandra, how are you?
Hi, thank you so much. You're so incredible. I love your show, and I'm so honored to be here today. I can't wait to connect with your audience and talk all about my journey. So thank you.
Yes. Well, thank you. No, thank you. So I want to just dig in, girl. Like literally now you have, and para todo el mundo, and I'm going to just translate back and forth so my Spanish community can understand. Sostenible en la industria de belleza. Like this is something that we need, especially, sustainability in the industry, the beauty industry and the environment. You are doing it all. Tell me how are you inspired to do all this stuff? Tell us.
So I've been doing makeup worldwide for about 15 years, and I got really sick a couple years ago, and I wasn't sure what was going on. I started to lose my vision. I was having major allergies. I was having a lot of outbreaks on my skin. Couldn't figure out what was wrong. So I went to the doctor into Stanford near where I lived, and they diagnosed me with psoriasis and allergies and did a bunch of testing and told me that I needed to take a lot of shots and stuff. And I kind of just shut down and wasn't really sure what was happening. And I just thought, okay, I'm only 30 years old. Like, why is all this happening to me? And I went to this event and I met this woman, and we were talking, and she had cancer, and she was saying that she had this beauty brand, and she was saying, oh yeah, I can't use anything that's not clean because I can react. And I was like, well, like what? And she said some of the symptoms, like allergy, like really sensitive skin and things. And I said, whoa, that's so crazy. I didn't realize that about people who had cancer. She had breast cancer. And so she said, yeah, fragrance can be a huge trigger. And so that stuck with me. I went home that night and I looked at all my products, all the beauty products, all the really high-end stuff that I had been using on my clients for years and using on myself every single day. Like not just makeup, but like my shampoo, everything in my house, my air fresheners. And so I got rid of everything. I put it all in a box and I said, okay, I'm going to try to not use this for a week. I'm going to do a little detox. And I did that. And within 3 days, my symptoms were cleared. Like my back knee went away. I could see better. Like literally my vision wasn't as foggy. I had a huge change in, my inflammation, the redness in my eyes, my itchy, watery eyes. It was even hard to sleep at night because I was stuck in this fog of just constantly basically poisoning myself. And I didn't know what I was doing. It was really scary. So I shared that story online because I already had a community, right? And started to hear other women tell me they had similar issues and that they were allergic to things, and that, you know, even things like gluten in makeup, I didn't even realize was an issue for people that had a celiac disease. But even if it touches their skin, it can impact them. And so I became super aware, hyper aware overnight of what I was putting on my body. I started doing research. I couldn't find any podcasts because I'm a huge podcaster. I love podcasters and all of that. I decided, you know what? I think this is my calling. I think I should start the first clean podcast. So it's called Clean Beauty. I launched that back in November last year. So we just celebrated a year this past November. And I've brought over 50 women on that have had very similar stories. Doctors, scientists, women who've created their own clean makeup lines that are not only good for our health, but good for the environment. I am so big on sustainability, and I really think that, you know, I want to have kids. I'm getting married in June, and I want to leave. Thank you. I just want to leave a better world for them. I think, like, you know, the oceans are being filled with plastics and garbage, and, you know, it's just scary to think about what the future could be for them. And I really try to do my best to be sustainable in every single way, not just like with makeup and beauty, but like, you know, going to Starbucks with my refillable mug and things like that, and sharing all of that with my community every day. Like my little things, you know, I feel like we should all try, you know?
Exactly.
So, the last part of the story is just that when I became super hyper focused on clean beauty, I lost a lot of clientele. I lost a lot of money. I lost the kind of, I didn't know what exactly I was going to do because, you know, everyone wanted me to use the YSL and the Chanel and all these high-end brands, but I was known as a luxury artist charging top dollar. So when I said, I'm using clean green makeup, they were like, oh, you mean the stuff that doesn't work? And it was a total misconception. So I was able to take even more time on my podcast. And during that time, I started tapping into what else do people need? And let me go back to this cancer thing. Like what else did they struggle with? And that was, I found out that not only do the women that go through chemo lose hair on their head, they also lose their lashes. And throughout my time as a makeup artist, whether it was a model, an actress, or a bride, all of them complained about the same thing, which was losing their eyelashes or losing their lashes on the floor when they were putting their lashes on, poking themselves in the eye, not being able to apply false lashes in the beginning. And they all struggled with the same thing. And so I said, you know what? I want to create something that's going to make it easier. So I launched Lash Finder in March. It's a patent pending tool that I developed to make eyelash application the easiest, safest, and fastest in the world. And we partnered with Chemo Companion, which is Shop Open Beauty, which is basically, I partnered with a local oncologist. She basically deals with cancer patients. And every time you buy a lash finder, one goes to a woman who's struggling with chemotherapy, who lost her lashes to chemo that's going, you know, has cancer. And it just empowers them, makes them feel a little bit more normal. And, you know, if they're going out, what if it's their birthday, or even if it's just daily, that they can have something that's easier and safer. There's no metal on the tool. There's it's built with a silicone tip, so even if their hands are shaky or they're very young, like some of these girls are 5, 6, 7 years old and they want to feel pretty and do their own makeup, this is a very safe tool for them to use. It's also hands-free, so we've had some people that don't have a limb, you know, they only have one arm, and they're able to actually apply the lashes because the spring is loaded. So it actually holds the lash binder together, the lashes inside the lash binder without any pressure. So it's a really easy thing to use. And we've been just working towards partnering with different boxes and hospitals, and it's kind of going full circle. We're starting to work with Stanford and go and get into their medical center with the doctors that are working there. So it's really cool. So I'm really excited to be working with so many women around the world that struggle from eyelash loss, and not just from cancer. You know, there are certain issues with some people that struggle and pull their own lashes out due to stress and things like that. And we've helped them. And it's just been amazing to see, you know, I created this tool just for like a simple thing, but it's become such a game changer.
It's bigger.
In so many people's lives. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I love this. I mean, I am just, it's true you said, I mean, like when you are going through anything, like when you were doing, you know, your skin and your back knee and all that stuff, and even when I was sick, it's like, you still want to feel beautiful. Like you can still go through these journeys and still feel beautiful. Like you're allowed to feel beautiful, because that's a little bit of what makes you say, I'm going to fight, and I'm going to fight within my own. Like it doesn't have to be something, you know, as drastic as that, but it could be trauma. It could be a lot of different things that goes on in your life. And this entire, I'm going to put everything on here for my listeners, for Lash Binder, the buy one, give one chemo companion that they're partnering with. That is huge, you guys, because this is now not just a product. It's a part of something bigger. Now, I wanted to ask you, because you're very inspirational, just for the fact that it's that bravery. I mean, you basically, and para todo el mundo que está escuchando, everyone that is listening, that's brave to basically lose clients, lose money, okay? We're talking about brands, and you're like standing behind, that's pure bravery, standing behind and say, you know what? My health and my environment is way more important than anything, because I know in the end it's going to be it's going to be worth more. But for everyone listening that's probably saying, "Ay, Alicia, how? Como? Dime." Like, how, Cassandra, can we, like, little by little start doing these things when we're so, you know, we're attached to these things and we don't know. I didn't know there was gluten in makeup. I didn't even know that. I mean, how can we start doing these things from like little by little? Like how?
So, yeah, I think, you know, it's trying to make it less about me and more about my clients. Like I didn't stop using makeup on them because I wanted to say, oh, I can't use it, so you can't. It was about their health. And it's not just about gluten. Like a lot of I have patients that have or are undergoing chemo, and that means that they are way more sensitive than the average person. And so their products cannot contain coal tar and lead and arsenic and like different things that are in our everyday products that we can get at the drugstore, or even, like I said, the high-end retailers that I was buying makeup from. And so I started really coming from a place of education and letting them know, like, hey, this is why I'm using this. It works the same. It's just, it's just not really available at like the drugstore. And I think just working from a place of knowing what was right has kind of brought me to this place. Wait, what was your original question?
Well, I just wanted to know, like, if, for everybody listening, they're just like, how, Cassandra, how can I start to, like, how can we start doing it in our homes right now? Like, even if it's like you said, you went into your pantry, started to see, because if you're looking behind these bottles and you can't understand esa palabra, you can't understand what those words are, you clearly don't need to be putting it on your face. You know? You're
exactly right. Yeah, I've been really trying to focus on that, because like the first time I ever went home to Seattle after this happened to me, I went home to my mom's. I stayed with her for the weekend, and I basically cleared her bathroom, and she's like, "What are you doing? You can't take everything out of the house." And I was like, "Well, Mom, like, you know, your dish soap, like, it has fragrance, like this could be hurting your hands," because she has issues with her skin. And she saw immediate results, but she was like, at first she was really mad at me, because she's like, I don't need, what am I going to do? Like, are you going to fix everything? So we actually went to Target and we found EWG verified products. And like one of the big ones for her was laundry detergent. She was using Tide our entire lives. And we actually went and found an eco-friendly laundry detergent that was at Target. It was cheaper, and she says it works better. I don't know the exact name, but like Target is now carrying these brands. Sephora is now carrying these brands. Like, they're becoming mainstream. So if you're looking to swap something out, I would say, like, you don't need to do a big cleanse like I did unless you're experiencing something major. Acne, psoriasis, or any sort of health issue that can be related to cosmetics. And some of them are so deep and take so long to really figure out that you really do have to go through a detox of several weeks. But I would say just for the everyday consumer, it starts with one thing, right? You can, let's say you're running out of your shampoo. Okay, make a conscious decision to vote with your dollars and support a woman-owned business local in your community. Like, just go online and look up EWG verified brands in whatever country you're in, or certified B Corp, and look up, shampoo. Maybe you like lavender, so like kind of start looking. But that's one of the things that I've begun to do is I work with women who want to cleanse, and basically they cleanse their bathroom. Some of them cleanse their kitchen or whatever, or their makeup vanity. And they're like, hey, I really love this foundation. I've been using it for 10 years. What's a great alternative? And I've tried thousands of different products.
I love that.
Through my podcast and through brands that want to work with me. And so I'm able to say, oh, this consistency, oh, this color, oh, okay, you might want to try this. So I actually do that as a service. And I do a free consultation for anyone who's like, oh, I love this body wash, but I really want to try something cleaner and greener. And I can recommend something. I have a blog on this. I have a whole podcast on this. So I bring on brands that I've found, because I think a great example is like I'll get 10 or 15 different lipsticks sent to me from a company that is working with clean brands, right? Like a store, like a Sephora. They'll send me like 10 or 15 different lipsticks in one color, and I choose my favorite one, and then I bring them on my podcast. So these brands I vet, I try, I'm like really in love with. But my skin type is not the same as everybody else's. Mine's drier. So, like there's something for everybody. And I feel like in this day and age, it just depends on what you're looking for. But I'm happy to help your audience if that's
I'm
looking to do.
Oh my God. I'm going to put everything para todo el mundo que está escuchando. I'm going to put it on the bottom of my podcast. Lash Finder, the Clean Beauty Podcast, all the information, and Cassandra's website as well. So if you guys want to like have a question, which I actually have a question for you, because I'm a woman of color. I'm Afro-Latina. My skin is different. I was just speaking yesterday to my beauty girl. She's the one who does like my facials and microdermabrasions. And I was just telling her, I was like, I want to wear less makeup. I kind of want to do that Alicia Keys thing where I just wake up, put a little something, and that's it. And what I love about her is that she tries to do everything natural. Like, she's all about she'll come and she'll do my facial, or like literally bring honey and, and put it on your face. Like, she tries to do that. And she says it's all about skincare. So I love that you're being super clear to my audience and telling them, like, you can start as simple as just Googling it. Like, it might be $2 more, but it's so much worth it, because you probably might not even need to replace it as often if you buy like that stuff with all that crappy stuff. But I wanted to ask you, for women that are women of color, ethnicity, do you feel like there is a space where they're creating makeup or that is sostenible, like it is sustainable and it is natural? Because I feel like for us, it's so hard. Like, I go into Ulta or Sephora and I'm just like, where's what happened to us? So do you feel like that's like, because you're in the beauty industry, so like,
yes,
are they?
I'm so glad you asked.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. One of the specific reasons why I partnered with Beautycounter was for this reason, because I really saw that there was not a lot of inclusivity when it came to clean and green beauty. And Beautycounter, as a makeup artist that works with lots of people of color from all different parts of the world, including Africa and India and the Middle East, I needed something that works on all skin ranges and something that I can recommend. And Beautycounter is not only certified B Corporation, which looks at people, planet, profit. So they go through a huge kind of overview of the company. Like, they get kind of investigated to make sure that they're ethical and all that, but they're also EWG verified, and EWG stands for Environmental Working Group. And that just, it's a .org, and it looks at the environment, right? So it's making sure that this company is not dumping sludge into the waterways and creating unnecessary waste. Beautycounter, I partner with them. I'm actually a consultant with them.
Okay, because I was going to say that you know them.
Yes, I know them very, very well. And they even repackaged everything last year to have all glass bottles, and they don't send extra package waste when they send their products. Oh. They're working on a refillable program. And what's different about this company versus the other ones is that Christy Coleman is a celebrity makeup artist in LA. She works with everybody. She actually joined their team and formulated like most of their products. So it's high performing. It's used on the red carpet. It was just used on the Golden Globes last night. It was all over the red carpet because it's that good. And I believe Alicia Keys has tried it. So you should definitely try it. And it's such a great one. And when you're talking about the natural look, there's something called Flawless in 5. And it's basically...
Wait, what is it called? It's
Flawless in 5. It's so if you want to be flawless in 5 minutes, you can use a tinted moisturizer or a foundation, a concealer, a brow pencil, a lip gloss or lipstick, and a blush. And that'll get, and under 5 minutes, you can do your entire makeup with this system of clean and green products from Beautycounter. And you can shop with me, support my business.
Yes.
I'm consulting with them. And it's owned by a woman, founded by a woman. It's based out of Santa Monica, California. It's there are actually not enough voices in this space, because if you're hearing about it from me, that means you could be, you know, like me and representing the brand. Because the first week that I started trying the product, I was getting compliments like, "Oh my God, your skin looks so great. How, like, what are you wearing? What are you doing? Did you get a facial?" And I fell in love with it and started telling my friends, and those same friends are now consultants as well. And they make a nice paycheck every month just from sharing the products naturally, because other people ask about it. So it's a great business, and it's such a great thing to do. And a lot of my friends are like, one's a fashion designer, one's a educator, and one of them's actually my publicist. So it's really awesome. Just for anybody. And my publicist is she's straight from Africa. She's amazing. So I think definitely check out beautycounter.com/Cassandra Mcclure, so you actually shop with me. But you can also sign up too to get like up to, I think, 30% off. If you become a consultant, you can get a great deal. And as a makeup artist, I was used to using like MAC and Makeup Forever. That's kind of where I came from, because as a pro, we get like 30-40% off as a pro. And so when I found out that Beautycounter offered that, that's kind of why I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to pay full price. I want to be a consultant. But Flawless in 5, we pay the same as a consultant as just everybody else. So it's like $150. You get those 6 products to use in under 5 minutes. And there's a 60-day money-back guarantee. If anything, you know, if you want to send it back for free and exchange it, or you didn't get the right color. But they're such a great company. And
I love this. I'm on there now, and I'm like, okay, when I get off this podcast, I'm going to be, and I'm going to shout out to my girl, Lency. She's a makeup artist. I'm going to tag her in this podcast too, because she is all about finding stuff. She's a woman of color, Caribbean as well. And we're always trying to, I'm like, what are you wearing? And how do you do it? You know, because it's true. I mean, it's very hard, you know, the orange pigmentations and too yellow and too this and too that, and then all the different chemicals on top of it. We end up going outside looking a hot mess. But I love everything that you're doing. I cannot thank you so much for being on the podcast. And I have a fun question. I know todo el mundo está escuchando. Everybody's listening, and they're like, I never knew that there were so many options probably for sostenible industry de belleza. Like there's a lot of options, you guys, not just from los paquetes, la química, like there's a lot of options. I'm going to put all this information on the bottom of this podcast, and you guys can actually reach out to her, just like she just told us about the Flawless in 5 minutes. Like reach out to her, even ask a question, just like, hey, I'm not sure about this. Like, it doesn't matter. If information is the most important thing. And I think that leads to my last point with clarity, that she was able to research. I mean, Cassandra, you research and you're like, I'm going to dig deep into this. I'm going to see how I can, be aligned with brands that are helping and being a part of this. So I want to thank you so much for being on a podcast, but I have a fun question. What would you say is your superwoman power?
I guess I guess like, I guess it would be like almost like a chameleon, because I've been able to transform into so many different roles, like coming from doing makeup. Like 3 years ago, I had 40 weddings, right? I had a wedding, a couple weddings every weekend. I ran a huge team. And now, and before that, I had tried a clothing line. I had done a Swarovski. Like I had done so many other businesses, and I always was trying different things. And my fiance always told me, like, your greatest power and your biggest weakness is that you like to pivot. You can pivot easily. And I see that as almost being a chameleon. Like if I need to change my ways for one certain thing, or I need to, you know, I'll figure out a way. Like if it's not working, or there's a will, there's a way. And I've always made things work, and I've never kind of let things get in my way. And even a challenge, a really huge challenge, like being sick, I turn that into a positive thing, and even a business. So it's been, I think that is the one thing that I'll always, that now I know from my fiance, because he always tells me. So yeah.
I love that. Well, thank you so much, Cassandra. Everybody check her out. She has an amazing podcast, and she also has a website. I'm going to put out all that information. And remember, you guys, clarity in everything that we do. Sometimes it's good to research and look through, but also knowing that bravery sets us apart in this road trip of life. Hasta la próxima, with lots of love. Thank you so much, Cassandra, and have a beautiful day, everyone. Adios. Bye, Cassandra. Bye.